Hey everybody, and welcome to Stock Abilities. Today I'm going to be covering the Unity IPO. If you're not familiar, it's a video game making software development tool, kind of dabbles in different areas here. We'll cover that a little bit later into the video, so make sure to listen to the whole video. Feel free to comment below your own input on Unity IPOing and what you feel about that in the comments below, but we're going to hop right into it here. Basically, Unity Software, one of the leading platforms for video game developers, plans to raise as much as 1.3 billion in its Wall Street debut on Friday. It's a very unusual day to choose for an IPO on Friday on a triple witching exercise day. A lot of this is a very, very badly timed IPO, but it does seem to attract some interest to it. I guess they just wanted to get on the market and finally get it done and dealt with. It probably would have made more sense to wait until a little bit after September, but I suppose they're trying to hop onto the hype train of companies like Snowflake, which IPO'd with basically a net profit of zero and somehow is valued at 80 billion. They're trying to value themselves at anywhere between 1 to 3 billion. Their IPO has been a mixed open, positive, negative. I think it's kind of a low volume day, so it's not doing the greatest, but get into that here in just a little bit. But if you guys want a little bit more details, if you're into gaming, if you're familiar with Fall Guys, Pokemon Go, Call of Duty, and all these different places, all these different companies that utilize basically the Unity engine, it's a very popular engine, been around, I believe, since about 2004. Company was relatively profitable over the past years. Lately, it's been on and off mixed. They're still generating revenue, quite a little bit of it. It's kind of in a similar circumstance to Snowflake, so you're project at least it's not projecting an unrealistic valuation, whereas Snowflake IPO'd and launched from basically an open of $245 a share to over 319, then crashed back down. This company is bouncing between $60 and $100 a share. In that range, I believe last time I checked, it was at like a 68 or $69 a share point. But the short answer is it's all about future guidance. It's all about what you feel the future of this particular company can be. I feel this is Unity's a lot more promising of an IPO than something like Snowflake, simply because of the AR VR expansion into the markets here coming up. AR, augmented reality, VR, virtual reality. A lot of these companies kind of growing quite fast if you compare it to Epic Games and Fortnite and things like that. Fortnite was very popular. Fall Guys is one of the more recent, very popular games made from the Unity engine. And Unity gets a kickback of those kind of things depending on how the licensing and everything is used. So these are just something to think about in general. Uh, they're the most popular video game development engine in the world, according to a report from Cheddar. They basically they license development software to developers who used to build all kinds of games for smartphones and traditional consoles. Some of the most popular ones that have been utilized for that is Pokemon Go, which you probably heard about. Very popular, one of the biggest in the world at the time for, ironically, augmented reality, which I've covered already recently in a Dave and Buster's video. But augmented reality and virtual reality are going to be very, very big markets in the future. Other popular games like Cuphead and Hollow Knight. And something to think about, though, also is that Unity actively is currently losing monies, which is likely why they are IPOing in the first place. This is what a majority of companies do when they're struggling to, make ends meet. They say, "Hey, what can we do next?" They discuss it with someone, their financial whoever's, and they come to the conclusion, "Hey, we'll IPO, we'll launch it, we'll raise some funding, and we'll try to grow into the future." I don't see this company as going bankrupt anytime soon. This is a very large game development company. A lot of people utilize this, and they're still actively trying to contribute into that future growth. They're trying to contribute and expand into a more worthwhile company. And I feel that there's a lot of untapped aspects to this company that they could have been. According to its IPO paperwork, Unity has never been profitable. Uh, they're a little bit more harsh on this than they were with Snowflake, which has technically never been profitable either. So the harshness on this particular company seems like they're toning it more as a negative IPO, even though they're almost in the same standing point as that of Snowflake. So it's a little weird how they do these narratives and how they explain the valuations and all that kind of stuff. They've raised some capital funding from various private funding places, and that value, at least to me, is far more worth it than Snowflake and others. But Snowflake and others had more big banks and even Warren tied to it. This company, not as much. It's still a profitable company in the future. There's still growth to be had in the future. I feel they are kind of overextending themselves in regards to their operational costs, but that's just my own input. But we're going to jump just some basics into it here. They don't just do gaming, they do film, animation, cinematics, architecture, engineering, and construction. There's a lot of unique niches and sectors, which means a unique market share for Unity. That means that you have the augmented reality markets, you have the virtual reality markets, but then you also have things like tourism, which you don't really think about. Then you have for like schematics, things like that. A lot of this is going to be hitting multiple different sectors. It's not just basically you're looking at, hey, it's a game development software, whatever, so on and so forth. This is a lot of market share potential. They're likely going to bash it for a little bit, say this is not a good company to get into. You have Business Insider already doing that, and it just recently IPO'd. And you got to think of it in a market share perspective. What makes Unity different from any other company on the market? It's sort of like I was talking about with Dave and Buster's in the other video. This is a unique market share opportunity because it hits multiple sectors. Because it's not gaming, it's transportation, it's architecture, it's engineering, it's creating these landscapes and creating these mechanical, I would say, masterpieces in regards to showcasing different things. You're not just gaming on this company, it offers a variety of different things. Now, they've been bouncing around and they went down since their IPO, basically, but does that really mean anything in the long term? You're playing it on the market share valuation of what this company might be. And then essentially, even on CNN Business, uh, Epic's a very good and noble company, and they do some really cool things we benchmark against, said, but I don't think of them as competitors. Basically, they have so many sectors they can tap into, so much unique market share, so they can get news from so many different places. They can get contracts from the government, they can get contracts from local architectural type companies. They're not just going to be focusing on game development. There's a lot of market share to be had, and even if they're profitable or not, market share is what drives the stock market. Hype is what drives the stock market, and they have so many sectors they can tap into and grow on just simply that aspect. You know, their projected worth over 3 billion. I don't feel that's that unrealistic considering, what they could potentially tap into in the future. AR and VR markets are going to be worth hundreds of billions in 10 years. So that's a lot of market share valuation. I feel that Unity could be $200, $300 a share. This is a very good opportunity, even at this share price, to consider for the long term. But thank you for listening in. If you guys have any other questions about Unity, or you'd want another video to maybe go more into details about what Unity does, but to summarize, they do gaming, they do automotive, transportation, manufacturing, they do like 3D models, they do architectural models. You could do landscapes and a whole lot of different things with the Unity engine if you know how to utilize it. This is a very, very big sector in, today's reality. You got things like TikTok and other things getting popular, but this is like focusing on multiple different sectors. This isn't just gaming. This is many, many different things all at once in just one company. And personally, I think it's a great long term investment, but I would never recommend buying on an IPO day. IPO days generally, bigger money tends to bait you, and you try to go and get in on these awful spreads, and the volume is either too high or too little. And once that volume settles down, the price drastically changes. I'd give it maybe a few weeks, maybe till the end of the month, see where it settles, and then maybe contemplate longing this company. Uh, I'm projecting $200, $300 a share within probably just 2 years. This is a very valuable company. They also have data from a lot of different sectors. So it's not just personal data that they have, but they have data from major companies as well. Major companies have a value that have their own data and their own user base from multiple different sectors. And all of this adds up to a percentage of market share again. There's a lot of opportunity with this company. How they'll progress from here, how they'll approach that's relative to the company. But they've been around for a while. I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon, and I'd highly recommend considering this within a few weeks after the IPO settles. I mean, you can even wait up till the lockup period, which is basically when the bigger investors can sell all of their positions and see how it sits then. But that's 2, 3 months if you want to wait that long. uh, I think this has potential like Facebook did when it IPO'd. So that is something to consider. I don't see it that unrealistic to be over $100 a share literally by just next year. That's a $30 a share return roughly from where it currently sits. But I'd let it settle a little bit, then determine it from there. But thank you for listening in. Have a great day. I will be covering maybe this and other IPOs in the future. So if you like these kind of videos, make sure to subscribe to the channel and comment below your own input on what other IPOs you'd want me to talk about and all that fun stuff. Thanks a lot and have a nice day.